In this introductory video, I just want to give you an overview of what LabVIEW is capable of and explain a bit about why it's a very powerful engineering tool. LabVIEW is an industry standard measurement software. It provides a front panel for a user, whether that's a customer or a technician or the engineers. It's a very visual way to run the program. And if I open up my block diagram, you have visual programming happening in the background. And you can have case structures like this, performing conversions. We can also have inputs where the user, these are called controls, where the user controls the program by entering information. I have an output choice here. So this is also a user control. It is also an input, but it controls the units on the output values here in my indicator. There's a gauge to make it very visual. And you might imagine, so in this case, I'm putting pressure as an input in pounds per square inch, PSI. My output units can be millimeters of mercury, pascals, PSI, or inches of mercury. And my values are going to change dramatically depending on the variables. So let's go to PSI here. So we know our input range is from 14 to 15 PSI. That's atmospheric pressure. If I change that to pascals, that's 96,000 to 103,000. That's a very different range of values. And you can adjust this dynamically so that it's appropriate for the output. Going on to millimeters of mercury, and then inches of mercury. My stop button ends the program if I start it using this run button. And I can close the block diagram and still operate the program, and this would be what the user sees. Again, it's just a clean interface to run the program. Another example here, and while I can't run it, I can show you the functionality. This LabVIEW program is set up to measure from an ultrasonic rangefinder. And in this case, it's using the NI DAC hardware that's on the lab benches in CETA, so it can use the built-in DAC assistant. From there, it can average values. This is a compound addition tool that takes the current value and the most recent 4 values and adds them together and averages it by dividing by the number of values there, 5. And so I can graph the raw data and the averaged data. So this is just a mathematical manipulation of the signals, or conditioning, I should say, of the signals to allow for some noise reduction in the data output. Again, it has a stop button to end the program. It's got a graph to make it a nice visual interface. And the person running this program would only have to look at this very simple user interface. So LabVIEW is a very powerful software. It can also work with Arduinos, and that's what we'll be doing shortly. In a follow-up video, I'll show you some of that functionality. So you can open example problems too. Under the help, you can find examples. And then if you're looking for help on the fundamentals, you can look at loops and structures. So case structures, selector data types, for example. And once I open the program, Control-T, go to Window, you can open things up and you can look around. And there's documentation explaining things. I'll also show you that you can use the context help to look at things, and that pops up in this window. I think that's enough for this initial overview. And I hope you're getting excited about learning the software that's very relevant to measurement and control tasks in industry.